So the Supergirl pilot was leaked online, and while the jaded among us might think this is to shut down the naysayers who have been comparing the trailer to the SNL Black Widow spoof, I'm going to be optimistic and assume it was actually leaked by Katie Cassidy as revenge for the wig they keep making her wear on Arrow. Now, torrenting or downloading the pilot would be totally illegal, so I will say that I did not download the pilot and did not watch the pilot in any way, shape, or form, because that would be wrong. But if I did, here are a few spoiler-free thoughts on the Supergirl pilot.
What works? Melissa Benoist is absolutely amazing as Kara/Supergirl. She's been given the most praise based on the trailer for her perfect blend of nerd and hero. You can see a complete shift in how she carries herself when she's in costume. Something we see Stephen Amell do on Arrow, but not so much from Grant Gustin on Flash. And speaking of the Flash, the tone. The series itself has way more in common with The Flash than with Arrow, and that's really a good thing. Personally, The Flash is one of my favorite shows, not just because of the stellar cast, Grant Gustin can do no wrong, but because it strikes the perfect balance between comedy and drama. Yeah, there's some schmaltzy cry faces happening between Kara and her sister, but having recently just rewatched the pilot of The Flash, Supergirl does not have the monopoly on superhero waterworks. Every scene Callista Flockhart is in. While some complain of the Devil Wears Prada-ness of Cat Grant and her company, I for one loved every moment Callista Flockhart was on screen. She takes subtle jabs at the audience who might say there's no need for a female superhero or compare displays of femininity as weaknesses. Also, is it just me, or does she remind anyone else of what I imagine Sarah Michelle Gellar is like in real life? The message. Without going too much into spoiler territory, the message Supergirl is trying to get across is about whether or not we choose our own fate. It's an interesting twist on what happened over on The Flash, where Barry seemed to have no real choice in becoming the Scarlet Speedster, while a bumpy ride through space let Kara's journey to becoming Supergirl be completely her own. Supergirl showed up! 11 minutes into the pilot and Kara is flying and using her powers, and she's fully Supergirl by the end of the episode. Remember the days of Smallville when Clark didn't fly for a decade and was known only as the Red-Blue Blur? Yeah. What didn't work? We are bombarded with information, revelations, relationships, cliffhangers, cryptic talk, and action. I honestly wish there was 5 minutes to just stop and let Kara be Kara. Even Wonder Woman took time out for ice cream. In that horrible pilot that never made it to air. You should watch it. It's pretty awful. Don't say the S word. How many times can you refer to Superman without actually saying his name? Well, when the inevitable drinking game is made for this show, you can bet you'll be taking a shot for every mention of Kara's cousin. Woo, alcohol poisoning! Dodgy fights. Where Arrow is street-level martial arts and the Flash is, well, flashes of light and quick punches, Supergirl's fights rely more heavily on demonstrations of strength, which is sorta hard to pull off on a television budget. Because you can't have Supergirl destroy her entire city every episode. The DEO. Basically, there's a shadowy organization tasked with the neutralization of alien threats. Kara is an alien, therefore she's a threat. But they'll work with her. For now. We're going to need a bit more backstory on Hank Henshaw and his team, or I'm going to root for a Season 2 shakeup where the organization is taken down.
Bits.
Jimmy Olsen's muscle. Why isn't Jeremy Jordan singing? Buy a dresser. Dean Cain and Helen Slater cameo. Hashtag Callista. Post-credits stinger.
So overall, I'd give the pilot a solid B+, if I watched it, which I didn't. It's very much a natural extension of the storytelling and heroics that we're seeing on The Flash, and I'd also like to know why Glee alumni keep getting plucked out to become superheroes. So toss aside all the negative comments about continuity or female heroes or colorblind casting, and just enjoy that we live in a world where we have so many great comic book shows. And also Gotham.
Up and away?